What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be going over a structured system of exactly how to teach martial arts to your students. Stick around towards the end because I'm going to show you another method that we use to make this even more valuable so that your students are on the edge of their seat just waiting to learn what you have to teach them. Okay? So let's get into it. It is called the PEND, and again, this is a structured way that we teach them. Okay? So especially if you have staff, we have 10 locations, we have 30 staff. If you have staff, everything that they do has to be structured so that way you can teach it to them and they know exactly how you want them to teach it. If you have them understand how to do a basic jiu-jitsu submission like a triangle choke, they may be able to do it, but can they teach it? Can they take that information and pass it along? Okay? So this acronym helps them remember exactly how to teach the technique. Okay? So to begin with, the P in PEND is for preview. So this basically means, let's say for example, they're teaching a triangle choke. They're going to show that entire technique in full from starting to end. And the reason that we do this is because we want our students to know where the submission starts and where it ends, because a lot of times with some techniques, there's more than 2 or 3 steps. And once you get past 3, most times they don't know where you're going with it. So it's really easy for students to forget where you started, okay? So by showing them exactly what it looks like in full, it's easier for them to piece together the technique, okay? Also at that time, if it's an instructor, it's okay once in a while to show off a little bit. Like maybe if you're shooting a blast double leg takedown and you got a really powerful shot, it's okay to show off. Your students need to know that you know what you're talking about. Obviously, you can go overboard with this. We don't want to do that, but this gives an instructor an opportunity to show their students kind of what they're made out of, and that's okay, okay? So the next one is E, and that stands for explain. Okay, so this is when we take the technique that we just taught and we break it down step by step. So for example, with a triangle choke, step 1, I control posture. Step 2, I push the arm between the legs. Step 3, I popped a crooked guard, and so on and so forth. So I'm either numbering these 1, 2, 3, 4, or A, B, C, so on and so forth. So people's minds need structure and they need steps, all right? So this is when we're, again, either adding a number or a letter for every step, okay? So the next one is M, and this is like a secret ninja trick, and it's going to make you a lot more efficient as a coach because you're not going to have to correct as often. And this stands for common mistakes. So if you've been teaching for a while, you know that you've taught this guillotine choke probably 20 times, and you know that every time you teach it, people, they lock their hands wrong. Okay? Or maybe their guard isn't high enough when they fall back into the guillotine. You have an idea because you've taught this enough of what they're potentially going to do wrong. So as I'm teaching the technique, I'm going to remind them or let them know that, hey, make sure when you're doing this guillotine choke that you lock your hands like this. This is a common mistake. Don't let it happen to you. And make sure when you fall back to your back or that you slide in underneath that you bring your guard up high enough so you have enough leverage. So you're going to notice when you do this with the students that you're teaching that you're going to have to correct less often. In turn, you're going to be able to move more quickly and give them more information in that class. Okay, so going over the common mistakes is very, very important and it's very helpful. Okay, so next up is demonstrate. Okay, that's where we just simply show the technique in full again. Okay, simple as that. We showed them what it looked like. We explained it step by step. We talked about the common mistakes, and then we're just going to review it. We're going to demonstrate it again. All right? And then lastly is involvement. And this is the most important part of the entire technique, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay? So when we involve students, what this looks like. So for example, we'll go back to a triangle choke. So I have all my students standing around me. So I would say, okay, Dave, step 1. Sarah, what's step 2? Bill, what's step 3? And as they're telling me step by step, I'm kind of imagining that they're working me like a robot. Like every step that they tell me, I go through the sequence, or I'm doing whatever they're telling me to do so they can see the move developing, okay? So not only is this providing all of the students another opportunity to see what this technique looks like from beginning to end, but most importantly, they know if you do this often enough that you're going to be calling on them to tell you what the technique is or to tell you the steps of the technique. And nobody wants to be the kid in class that doesn't know the answer. So it forces them to pay attention throughout the technique, okay? And you get an opportunity as an instructor to say their name. The sweetest sound to anyone's ears is their own name. You should be saying each of your students' name at least 3 times throughout the class, and this gives you an opportunity, okay? It helps to develop relationships, and it also helps to retain them because it shows that you know them as a person, they're not just a number, okay? So that is PEMD. So again, we preview, we show it in full. We explain the technique, we break it down step by step. We give the common mistakes of things that you've seen in the past to make sure that these students don't make those mistakes. We demonstrate the move again, and then finally we involve our students by having them tell us step by step what the technique is, okay? So, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm going to give you another trick to make this even better, okay? The other trick is something called the pre-frame, okay? So the pre-frame actually comes before the PEMD. A pre-frame is giving someone an opinion of something before they have a chance to experience it for themselves, okay? So let's say, for example, let's say you took your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, or wife, and you took them out to a restaurant. And let's say that you ordered a steak, and you cut into the steak, and you ate a piece, and you're like, man, that is the best steak that I have ever had. And I'm a steak connoisseur. I travel the world. I've ate steak in China and Brazil and different parts of the U.S., and this is the best steak I've ever had. Go ahead and try a piece. What do you think that they would think before they tasted the steak for themselves? They would think that that's going to be really good because you hyped it up. You gave it value. All right? So the same thing goes for the martial art techniques. You have to give them value before they have a chance to experience it. So going back to a triangle choke, I might say, all right, guys, we're going to learn a really technical submission today. It's actually off of our back. You know, guys in the UFC still to this day finish and win fights with this technique. Royce Gracie used to use this technique at the first UFC fights, and still today it is relevant and still useful. So here it is. So now my students are excited to hear what I have to say, okay? So this is the techniques and the system that we use at our martial arts school. I'm interested, if you go to a martial arts school yourself, or maybe you own a school, what does the framework look like that you use? Okay, so let me know in the comments, because I'm always trying to get better as well, and I'm interested to hear what you guys have out there as far as structuring your techniques, okay? So thank you so much for watching, and if you found value in this video, hey, just press the like button. It helps me out a lot. All right, thanks a lot.